Hello everyone, welcome to another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video in which yesterday they put out a video release for the Part 2 character of the 2026 Transcendent Dokkan campaign. But before we get into that, please consider liking if you enjoy this video, and if you enjoy the channel, please also consider subscribing as well. But without any further ado, let's get straight into the premiere of LR. LR Cell Max for the second time in Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. We are getting him as a playable character, and not only that, but he comes loaded with an amazing intro and an absolutely stunning animation into a domain into the destroyed ruins of the Red Ribbon Army base. And we're going to go ahead and get into the punch that he tried to land against Beast Gohan, but of course he blocked it and did the iconic kick. And then for the 18 key, we have the attack that Cell Max did against Orange Piccolo that Gohan had thought killed him, thus leading him to transform into the beast form that we all know and love today. But those animations were absolutely stellar. Love to see that appearance from Dr. Hedo as well, signaling the arrival of Cell Max into this game. Transcendent campaigns, previously known as Tanabata campaigns, have always had the thematic of the Part 1 being the hero-type characters versing off against the Part 2 characters, the villain-type characters. Of course, the title screen had Beast Gohan versus Cell Max. So honestly, I even saw people be like, what if it's not Cell Max? It's Cell Max. Like, are we serious right now? It's Cell Max. It's Cell Max. There's no way it's not. And the fact that we've gradually been getting movie villain buffs as well to help out Cell Max, because spoiler alert, he does not have a lot of categories, but he's going to be fantastic on super bosses. He's going to be fantastic on movie bosses as well. Metal Cooler, as I've just mentioned, along with Golden Frieza the Easy A, along with both of the Easy A's for the Cooler, Metal Cooler, which we're about to go over. He's going to have quite a bit of a good spot when he comes into this game, so I am very happy about where they're going with this, how they're doing movie bosses as well, on top of all the movie heroes, superhero love that they have done in this celebration. We're about to go over his kit, but once again, I do have to say, I absolutely love all the quality of life changes they put into Dokkan Battle, and look at that. Yo, that is one insane battle motion. I think they genuinely put him to sort of a massive scale here, and I absolutely love it, right? You can just tell that he is just gigantic. You can tell he's this giant character from that battle motion, right? And I think the battle motions are now conveying more personality of the character. There's not just, oh, this tiny sprite that has to fit on the screen. Like, no, we can have him hanging on the screen to signify, hey, this guy is huge. This is a massive character, okay? This is a giant, right? And I think they genuinely have this over Dragon Ball Legends, whereas Legends has to do this or that or the third to bring in the giant character. Dokkan can just do giants freely, right? They can just create these larger-than-life characters as they please, and that's not really the case with something like Legends, where they have to do all these rules and stuff, and you can't actually play as a blah 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 blah. But I am really, really excited that we are going to get another Cell Max on top of the previous Cell Max a couple of years ago when the original superhero hype was around. The Yellow Coin Cell Max was honestly so good that you would genuinely want to run his 150% leader skill as a friend just so you could have 2 of the Cell Max. Like, that's what... I'm pretty sure that's what helped me beat the anniversary, like the 10th anniversary battle, 9th anniversary stage with the Super Bosses mission. That's what helped me beat it, is double Cell Max. I'm fairly positive. So he's an insane character, but let's see if the second version of Cell Max is as insane as he is, and of course we'll move on to the Easy A's, and then I will wrap up. But shout out to my 2 favorites, Gamma 1 and Gamma 2. Oh my gosh, it's really coming full circle now to see characters I've literally been knowing for all these years finally get their Easy A, because of course I've been here all sort of 10, 11 years, but I haven't really been too active and dedicated for only the past couple of years, right? It's only been a little while since I've started making content over this, but I've always been a fan of the game, right? I've always been a fan of this game. I just genuinely think that they could always meet our expectations a little bit more, and they're genuinely doing that. I do not want to give this impression before we go into the kit, because I'm genuinely excited to read it, okay? But before I get into that, I just want to say, yo, I give this game a lot of flack only because I love it. If I didn't care, I really wouldn't give it flack. I really wouldn't give any criticism. If I didn't care, I would just be like, oh, it's just this garbage thing, and then we're moving on, right? But no, it's genuinely an amazing game. Despite me thinking the bubble tapping aspect of it is a slightly bland to me, and it definitely feels like, and they've actually been improving this lately with the super attack skip, because that does look really good. I'm a huge fan. I think that should be applied to all characters because, oh my gosh, because they've only done a limited amount of them at the start of it, where you can see the animation be skipped and it skips right to the end for multiple super attacks. I think that's really nice. I genuinely think for longer events, like literally Festival Battles is like 3 hours at times, so that I still haven't beat that event. So if I'm wanting to actually play this game, it's like, yo, we need to have some of the more menial stuff, like selling characters is better now. Like, they've improved the Dokkan Festival Medal Exchange. Like, they've improved this, they've improved that. And I've just been drawn back into this game as a player because of these little tiny changes here and there and here and there and here and there. They've just genuinely are trying to improve this game. And I definitely think, genuinely, that this is competing with the top spot on the mobile game charts for freaking sure. It is up there with Legends. It is up there with Gekishin. And I'm putting Gekishin up there. They have a Google Play Award. They were Google Play's Best Game of the Year last year, so they're up there. I'm just saying, before y'all hit me with a what the heck? Why is he even like, no, it's up there. But genuinely, I do think Dokkan is beautiful. Their animations are absolutely fantastic. It's just been, I have had a hard time getting into it as of late, and I do want to get into this game more. I just have to more consistently feel motivated to log in and do all this kind of stuff, and I actually want to play events for sure. But with that being said, I will go ahead and get into the kit of Cell Max. So let's go ahead and activate up, and I got a lot of reading to do. So without further ado, let's go. Alright everyone, Cataclysmic, Calamity, LR, Carnival, Extreme AGL, Cell Max leads movie bosses, Key 4, HP attack defense, 220%, very good leader skill, and now moving on to that passive skill. Alright everyone, Cataclysmic, Calamity, Carnival LR, Extreme AGL, Cell Max leads movie bosses, Key 4 and HP attack defense, 220%. Very good Carnival leader skill to lead movie bosses into a battle, and his passive skill, Uncontrollable Monster, activates the entrance animation upon entry. One time, permanently attack defense 999%, but permanently attack and defense 111% down for every 2 turns passed, and no more than negative 444%. His basic effects receive an additional Key 1 per Key Spear and guards for 1 turn from entry turn, Key 8 damage reduction rate 70%, attack 100 when attacking, and defense 100% when receiving an attack. And starting from the second turn from entry turn, when attacking, Key 3 and attack 40% if HP is 20% or more, plus an additional Key 3 and attack 40% if HP is 50% or more, plus an additional Key 2 and attack 20% if HP is 80% or more, and when receiving an attack, defense 50% and damage reduction rate 40% if HP is 20% or more, plus an additional defense 30% and damage reduction rate 20% if HP is 50% or more, plus an additional defense 20% up and damage reduction rate 10% if HP is 80% or more. What? Stop! 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 Let's go ahead and break that down really quick. Wait a minute. What do all these stats starting from the second turn from the character's entry turn add up to? They add up to that for 1 turn from the character's entry turn. They all add up back to that if you actually look. Attack 40, attack 40, attack 20. Wait, that's attack 100 when attacking. And all that damage reduction rate adds up to that 70%. All that defense adds up to defense 100. So, starting from the second turn from the character's entry turn, you still have that entry turn buff, but now it is conditioned on whether you have 80% HP or more, and you start losing those buffs at 80, at 50, and at 20. So that is essentially what this starting from the second turn for the character's entry turn is. It is the for 1 turn for the character's entry turn moved down with conditions, so you can start to get worn down as the fight progresses. You lose a little bit of HP here and there, so just keep that in mind. It is not superior nor inferior to the entry effect at maximum output, but you can lose that maximum output as the fight progresses, so just keep that in mind. When activating the active or when attacking with 20% or more key, perform. When activating the active skill or when attacking with 20 or more key, performs a crit and launches an additional super attack. Now, Cell Max's kit overall looks absolutely fantastic. I mean, 1000% stats plus a little bit of stats down under and a lot of damage reduction, a lot of key, receives an initial key, guards, launches an additional, performs a crit. He seems very good, and especially with him being Extreme AGL, as I said in the beginning of the kit breakdown, he is going to have that 5 additional as well, so that's also freaking-tastic typing as well. But moving on to that Link set, Android Assault, Infighter, Berserker, Big Bad Boss, this is a big one, Nightmare, Fierce Battle, and Legendary Power. And that active skill is Energy Field. The domain can be created when all allies are movie bosses or starting from the 5th turn from the start of battle. Massively raises attack temporarily and causes ultimate damage to the enemy, and creates the domain New Red Ribbon Army's base, ruined for 2 turns. So, that is absolutely amazing. However, pause here. what do you realize when you look at his kit? Or, rather, what do you not see? I'll tell you what you don't see. You don't see anything tied to the domain. Usually, domain characters have something along the lines of, if you do this during the domain in Broly, or when the domain is up, do this, right? He doesn't have any of that in there, so I actually like to see that. His domain seems to be something on the back burner, and just a little bit of a finishing move is what I'm thinking. It's not like Omega's where it's like, okay, you want this on during the entire fight, or something of that nature. You want to use this as the finisher, I would feel like. The domain is your finishing move, in my personal opinion, especially with all that damage. You're going to be getting a lot of damage in. However, since you do have the most stats at the start, you might want to go ahead and get it in at the beginning if you could, so you can just have that race, and then you can pop later domains, right? You could be like, sell max domain, and then you could say, okay, maybe, like, he's gonna get an easy A soon, so AGL Broly domain turn 5, and then you can start working from there. There's definitely a lot of domains on the villain side, so you're going to have to play around with that as you will. But moving on to the categories, he has movie bosses, androids, artificial life forms, Battle of Fate is a big one, super bosses, and uncontrollable power. All of those categories are absolutely fantastic. He only has 6 categories, but he doesn't have any type locks, and all the categories that he on are very, very good. All the categories that he owns are absolutely fantastic. Movie bosses is going to be busted by the end of the celebration. Androids has gotten a lot of dedicated support. Same thing with artificial life forms, because they're basically brother-sister categories as well. Battle of Fate is very good. Super bosses could receive some help for sure, but super bosses could be a valuable team to run him on. Once we get AGL Broly online, if we got some more help on that kind of side, we could see that go off. And of course, uncontrollable power is also a very good category. So very, very niche applications on the team side, but what he does have, he is very good on. So the only conditions that you need to keep in mind are the AP conditions, and if you want to activate that active skill domain early, you have to have all allies movie bosses. Otherwise, if you don't really care about that, which I can see situations where you don't care, where you're just like, yeah, I want that domain later, it's fine. You can use it later at the 5th turn to start a battle anyway, so that's pretty good. Alright, so his super attacks, Maximum Smash, is a physical super attack. Greatly raises attack and raises defense for 1 turn, causes colossal damage, and seals with a great chance of stunning. And the Ultra Super Attack effect massively raises for 4 turns and causes mega colossal damage to the enemy. Also very, very, very fantastic. This, along with the other movie bosses characters that we have in the game right now, means that movie bosses is genuinely a fantastic team. I think there's merit to running 2 Cell Max on the team for sure, like, especially since it's only the HP that is increased with Dokkan Festival leader skills that have the 250 HP and then the 220 attack and defense. I think running 2 of them as a leader is fine. I think that's going to be very, very good configurations for sure. Of course, you're going to want to find out who you're going to link them up. And honestly, I'm just going to be really honest here. Besides, like, big bad bosses, I think you're just going to run him at that. I think you're really just going to keep him BBB and then that's kind of it. BBB, Fierce Battle, maybe Legendary Power. I think you're just going to hit those big 3 and then just not really worry about all the rest of the links. You're really going to link them up with, like, the Coolers, and then the Turles, and then all these other major movie boss characters that we have gotten during the past couple of celebrations, and beyond. We are going to have A very, very, very good team for this guy to drop in. I am not worried about his performance whatsoever. He's going to absolutely be insane. But speaking of perfect partners, and speaking of movie bosses, yes, we have the LR STR Cooler who EZA'd during part 1, which is definitely going to slot very nicely on that team. But we have the EZA for the part 2 of that worldwide celebration, Metal Cooler and Goku and Vegeta. But the domain gives movie bosses, enemies, and allies attack 60% up. Very simple domain effect. You probably do want to run him on movie bosses. That's probably going to be his strongest setup. To be perfectly frank, movie bosses right now is definitely his strongest suit. Like, his strongest suit will be movie bosses, and he really leans into that. So I'm actually quite happy for him that he managed to get such a good character, and I definitely do sympathize for the people like, where's Orange Piccolo? But I definitely think that Gohan is going to be a very good support for the Piccolos that we have in this game, number one. And number two, it's going to be very, very good that we get Cell Max as the boss to sort of, you know, it's tradition. I don't know why people really thought that we weren't going to get Cell Max. I just was like, no, it's Cell Max. Look at the title screen. It's obvious. That's Coat. But with that being said, that was Cell Max. He's absolutely fantastic, and let's move on to Metal Cooler. Alright everyone, Infinite Terror Extreme Physical Metal Cooler is getting an Extreme Z Awakening, and starting off with his leader skill, Wicked Bloodline, category key +4 in HP attack and defense, +200%. Honestly, I do not think very highly of the new level of Extreme Z Awakening leader skills, only increasing that key 3 up to key +4. However, it is still a very decent leader skill, don't get me wrong. 200% leads are where I start to consider, okay, that's viable. I'd say it's 200, and then of course you have your 220s, and then your Dokkan Festival where your HP is 250. So I think those are the viable leader skills that you want to consider in the meta at the moment, where these EZA leader skills are at the bottom of the meta when it's considered. But I definitely think, yo, if you don't have any other options, you could use that as a very fantastic Wicked Bloodline leader. And of course, he might be strong enough where you would want to consider running 2 of him, and especially on that team with all these Friezas, the Cooler, the King Cones. Like, I genuinely think Wicked Bloodline is going to be an amazing team for him to be running on, and as well, the new Cell Max's team is going to be very amazing for him to slide onto movie bosses as well, because they share Big Bad Bosses, Nightmare, Fierce Battle, and Legendary Power. Yes, they share a lot of links. They share a lot of links with Cell Max. Nightmare, Fierce Battle, Legendary Power, Big Bad Bosses, yes. 4 out of 7 links with Cell Max. I think that constitutes a pretty good linking partner, especially having Big Bad Bosses up. I genuinely think that, yeah, you might just want to run them together, for sure, absolutely. Yeah, it's going to make a very, 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 very good rotation, but as well, really just having Big Bad Bosses in general with these characters is probably enough, because BBB is a very strong leader skill, so he's going to work well with all these villains that are coming onto the team anyway. But without further ado, the Terror of the Revived Cooler. Basic effects: recovers 15% HP at the start of turn, D5 and attack defense 250%, chance of performing a critical hit and damage reduction rate +50%, one-time chance of performing a critical hit and damage reduction rate +30%, and launches an additional attack. It has a great chance of becoming a super attack. And when HP is 80% or less, recovers 10% HP. When attacking for the first time, the more HP remaining, the greater the attack boost within the turn, up to 200%. When receiving an attack for the first time, the more HP remaining, the greater the defense boost within the turn, up to 200%. After receiving an attack, recovers 10% HP at the end of the turn. One time permanently key +4, one time permanently attack defense 100%. So already he seems like a character who really, really wants to have all the HP. Same thing with Cell Max, so I think they're going to pair really well with that, and it pairs really well with that revival skill, fully recovering his HP as well. So that is definitely going to be amazing. Speaking of, when receiving an unarmed super attack, great chance of nullifying it, and nullifies it if the character's revive has been activated. When activating the active skill attack 350% temporarily, and after the character's revive has been activated, attack 200% and defense 100% permanently, guards permanently, and damage reduction rate 15% before attacking, starting from the next attacking turn. Notice though, it says after this character's revival skill is activated. You do need to pop his revive for you to get this, so this might be dicey if you're running multiple revives and want to pop another one's revive, or you want to pop Metal Cooler's revive and then you have another Metal Cooler. That might be the only dicey part of this kit that I'm seeing. Otherwise, he is a great healer, a great damage dealer. He's going to pair very well with the STR Cooler that EZA to in part 1. He is a fantastic DPS along with Cell Max, another fantastic DPS tank character. Standard, when the character is KO'd or an ally is KO'd, if there's another ally whose name includes Cooler attacking in the same turn. So if you have another Cooler ally and they get caught, you could still go ahead and revive, which is absolutely amazing. And recovers with HP fully in survival mode. When the character is KO'd, revives with HP fully recovered. So the only difference there is in survival mode, you can't get that second condition or when the ally is KO'd if there's another ally whose name includes Cooler in the same turn. It was always very problematic that he himself had to revive. So it's very good that they're giving him an out like that, because of the fact that, you take all these hits with Metal Cooler, wanting him to die. He goes down in HP, he's at like 20% HP or something, and then the next unit in line gets KO'd, and then you're like, well, there goes my chance to revive, But very good. Greatly raises attack on the... Raises attack and greatly raises defense for 1 turn, causes Colossal to enemy, and greatly lowers attack on the Full Metal Avalanche Extreme. That is a physical attack, of course. And on the Ultra Super Attack Supernova from... You can get the massively raised in attack and greatly raises defense for 1 turn, causes Mega Colossal, and massively lowers the enemy defense. And that's a other type super attack. Of course, he looks very good. He looks very good. Cooler looks amazing. That is going to be it for all the movie bosses. That's absolutely fantastic. Much Chef's Kiss, they've been doing a great job with all of that. But now it is time to get into the movie hero support full power final showdown. Super Saiyan Goku and Super Saiyan Vegeta LR Super AGL character is getting an Extreme Z Awakening. His leader skill is Join Forces Movie Heroes Key 3 HP Attack Defense 170 plus Industrial Key 1 and HP Attack Defense 30% for characters who belong to Pure Saiyan. So they added that Key 1 stipulation onto the HP Attack Defense 30%. So it's Key 4 200%, still not the ideal leading skill, but if you don't have anything else, or especially if you're wanting to run 2 of him for whatever reason, you can still find value in that, but nothing too crazy. There is passive skill, Extraordinary Fighters, Key 5 and attack defense 250%, damage reduction 30, receives an additional Key 1 per type key speed, launches an additional attack. There's a high chance of becoming a super for 4 turns from entry. Attack defense 150, launches an additional super attack guaranteed. Damage reduction rate 40%, defense 200, and a damage reduction rate 20% up before attacking. When attacking with 18 or more key, attack defense 150, high chance of pulling a crit on the character's next attacking turn after performing 3 or more super attacks and receiving 5 or more attacks in battle, or when 3 or more movie heroes on the team starting from the 5th turn from the character's entry turn receives a morale boost. Now, I actually want to stop right there before we get into this, because this was the main issue with this character, why this character was so bad during his initial release. His morale boost when you got it was okay, but notice what I just said. when you got it. You really never got it because his morale boost original condition was upon entering the next attacking turn after the character performs 3 or more super attacks and receives an attack 7 or more times in battle. Oh, and he doesn't have any built-in additional super, so good luck. Yeah, good luck. Very good that they gave him multiple outs to transform. I think this is absolutely amazing. I'm so glad that is a passive skill transformation and not an active skill transformation or active skill like costume switch, really. It's really a costume switch, if anything, but I absolutely love to see it. Absolutely love to see the morale boost. And this character gets saved because, honestly, this character was honestly the weakest of the 4 cooler characters, and I'm really happy that he gets the buff. You know, all this movie bosses stuff is amazing. I love the movie heroes too. You know, the movie heroes got amazing support, and you know, that's definitely a saving grace for this EZA. Like the other 3 cooler characters, they were good, they just fell off. This character was like never good in the first place. He was never that. He was never all that, in my opinion. So him getting a good EZA, very great, very amazing. I love how they did all 4 of these EZAs. Every single one of them looks fantastic. So I really love that we're pushing the movie hero, movie bosses agenda this celebration. The super attack 12 key greatly raises attack and raises defense for 1 turn, causes colossal, and the extreme 18 key causes greatly raising attack defense for 1 turn, causes mega colossal, and greatly lowers attack and defense. The morale boost, key 5 and attack defense 300%. Damage reduction rate 70% because why not? Yeah, okay. Receive an initial key 2 per type key spirit 10, launches additional super for 1 turn. Damage reduction rate plus 20%. Okay, sure, whatever. When attacking with 18 more key, attack 150, high chance of pulling a crit. When receiving an attack with 18 more key, defense 150. When attacking with 24 key on activating the active skill, attack 30% and defense 150, performs a crit, launches additional, that's a great chance of becoming a super attack. Starting from the next attacking turn, 1 time, attack 500% temporarily if facing only 1 enemy when attacking. So, starting from the next attacking turn, yeah, this guy should have turns where he's hitting like a nuclear bomb. They're gonna hit like nukes. This is all through. All of them are absolutely insane, but of course, since this is really just a costume change, there is no difference between their super attacks. I do not believe, yes, there shouldn't be any super attack differences here. No, there is not any super attack differences between them. And of course, let's talk about their active skill. Power to make the impossible possible can be activated when facing only 1 enemy, starting from that next attacking turn once only. So, you want to pop that active skill when you first have the ability to, because it is going to be right on that starting from the next attacking turn. You definitely want to pop that active skill. You want to get that damage flowing. And it causes ultimate damage and stuns for 1 turn. Okay, very, very amazing. Very, very good. With that being said, hopefully y'all enjoyed this Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle video. They definitely are doing a very good job buffing not only movie heroes, but giving movie bosses, for the past couple of celebrations now, a very good home to live in. I genuinely think this is very, very, very good for the game to go ahead and give movies love like this, and I know Legend has been giving movies a lot of love too, so it's really just movie season around here for sure. But with that being said, hopefully y'all enjoyed this video where I went over Cataclysmic Calamity, Cell Max, and the EZA for the Part 2 characters of the Worldwide Celebration coming into Part 2 of the Transcendent Dokkan campaign. And then after this, we are going to be looking forward to the Global Dokkan campaign. So, in my Summoner Skip thoughts, honestly, if you really want Cell Max for the movie bosses team, I'd say summon, please. I actually would say summon. But if you don't need Cell Max for that movie bosses setup, I'd say skip. Look forward to the Global Dokkan campaign. Yeah, that is just my opinion, right? I think the Global Dokkan campaign should be respected, but if you want to summon, go ahead and summon. I don't even have the resources to summon, honestly, but this looks very amazing. But, yo, it's been me. Hopefully y'all enjoyed, and this has been an amazing video covering AGL Carnival or Cell Max! Yay! So, if you enjoyed that video, once again, consider liking, consider subscribing, and I'll be on out of here. Yo, this character will be dropping according to the video. I believe it says it's going to be dropping sometime tomorrow. So we have that to look forward to. Of course, I do love this game. Do love that it has a global sync. There's some things that I'm seeing that are doing. Really everything should be global synced. I don't know why we're doing that. Not that way. Ahem, fan of parade, I'm looking at you. That's your biggest issue. Please come on now. Fix this, address this, please, something. But, other than that, other than me giving strays, I'll just get on out of here. I have nothing more to say. Hopefully you all enjoyed, and until next Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle video, bye everyone!